Hello, mysterious audience. It's Veronica. We are going to discuss a very different topic than normal. In case anyone notices the Ever After High and the Monster High Generation 2 dolls behind us, we are going to be discussing a unique era of doll history, the doll dark ages, the years in between Ever After High's cancellation and the Monster High Generation 2 reboot, and the release of the LOL Surprise OMG line. So, these years are referred to as the Dark Ages by many collectors because while smaller companies did have interesting offerings, like Snap Stars and stuff like that. Yeah, we'll be discussing other brands or other smaller lines later. But we're just going to focus on Mattel's involvement for this video. So, the real catalyst for Mattel's downfall during this, let's just say after Ever After High became big, they lost the Disney Princess license, which gave them a lot of money. And Disney was making Disney Descendants. So, due to a combination of those events, Ever After High had to be discontinued. Yeah. Ever After High basically got canceled because of the loss of the Disney Princess license. And this really made them lose a lot of their audience because a lot of their audience was the type of people who bought Disney Princess dolls at the time. People who like that kind of thing. So, Mattel pulled something really odd and decided to reboot Monster High to be less edgy. Sorry, Crystal, you gotta go. You're not in this part after this. And they made the Monster High Generation 2 reboot. These are the only two from the reboot we can kind of find right now. We know there's more lurking in here somewhere, but these are the two we have on the shelf normally. And and for Katrine, she still looks enough like her Gen 1 self that our Dommy doesn't hate her, so yeah, she's cute, and she has the emo bang, so yeah. I don't loved to put doll's hair in front of one of their eyes because she thought it looked really cool, and she saw a bunch of anime characters do it, so yeah. And there's a Generation 2 Cleo who has an exceptionally good bang. Her hairstyle is still intact. She has a bracelet from somewhere else, and her clothes are very nice for a Generation 2 Monster High doll. Yeah, and they also are both fully articulated, which isn't the case with every Generation 2 Monster High doll. Yeah, so what Gen 2 Monster High did, most of them were articulated and still detailed enough, but they weren't as edgy as Generation 1. They weren't as aesthetically interesting as Generation 1. The designs were very much toned down in comparison. They had bigger eyes, as you can see with Cleo here. So, a lot of fans did not like that. And also, after Ever After High was canceled, Mattel brought out Enchantimals. Yeah, people hated Enchantimals. So basically, Enchantimals was this doll line of these 6-inch dolls. They all based on different animals. Rami has a few, but she cannot seem to locate them right now, which is a little unfortunate, but yeah. They're really cute, but they're definitely cheaper in quality compared to Ever After High and Monster High, which were the predecessors, and there were many unfair comparisons to Ever After High because the thing with Enchantimals, it was inspired by the idea of the Ever After High forest pixies. And yeah, So people would obviously compare it to Ever After High because aesthetically it was kind of set in the Ever After High universe. And also the idea of it is kind of based on that universe. And it's just, and somehow it's still going. Yeah, Enchantimals hasn't died. We don't know how it's still alive, but it's still alive. So we live in the US, and basically it had a very short shelf life in the US. Like, it was available for a bit, then suddenly it's mainly available on international markets. And this trend will continue. Now, another line that we want to discuss is DC Superhero Girls. Just please stand by while we get them out, because we have a few of them. Okay, we're back. So DC Superhero Girls, or DC SHG for short, is a line that kind of started during that time of Ever After Highs, like Cancellation and stuff. Basically, it's just teenage versions of DC characters. Yeah, there's the few we have. Poison Ivy is our Dami's favorite from this line. And so is Frost. She's pretty as well, but Mattel made this whole cartoon about them. That was a pretty decent cartoon. It was a good show for what it was, and just, it was interesting. The way it cohesively had the same feel as Ever After High and Monster High, and almost felt like a successor to it. And then they rebooted it and had Lauren Faust direct it and make it more My Little Pony like. Yeah, it got a reboot, and these dolls are before the reboot, back when they had fabric clothing and were more detailed. But thing is with this line, there are other dolls in this line where they're more like doll action figure hybrids with more molded on clothing and stuff, more gimmicks, and just, it was interesting how they tried to do the action dolls thing before Hasbro came out with the Marvel Rising line. And just, yeah, DC Supergirls definitely has some good dolls before the reboot occurred. It started out a solid line, but then Mattel did what they always did and ruined it by rebooting it. And the dolls for the reboot, we know we have at least one of them or something, but it's somewhere, but they aren't as good as the original line. They're not as articulated. They have more molded or painted on clothing, and it's just, the execution of the dolls wasn't as good as the execution of the cartoon. So we don't know if the cartoon is still going, but we know that the cartoon went on longer than the reboot doll line did. But yeah, we don't know when the dolls were canceled. We know it definitely happened in between the cancellation of Ever After High and the and the arrival of LOL OMG, though. Next, we're going to discuss another failed 666 successor line, Cave Club. So with Cave Club, yeah, we know these have more accessories, but we didn't feel like taking out all their accessories right now. And we had to work on the hair, of course, a bit, but Mattel's hair is not that bad, actually. But yeah, Cave Club is a line that Mattel created that has the same articulation as Monster High. And of course, they're based out of cave people, have really big feet and stuff, and and this line follows a similar issue with Enchantimals. Except it started out much more solid than Enchantimals did. So with Cave Club, they were available in the US for a bit. It then starting with the second series, they started becoming a lot more available in Canada and Europe than in the US. So it became more difficult for people in the US to get their hands on them and just collect the line. Our Dama is still trying to hunt down Lumina from this line because she thinks Lumina looks really cool, but she could never find her in store. And she doesn't, and she'll probably need to try to go eBay hunting for her or something. But yeah. So these two here are Tella and Emberly. They're both from the first series. And of course they have these very cave people aesthetics. Tella is probably her favorite. Or one of her favorite after Lumina from this line, but yeah. But Cave Club's short run was definitely unfortunate, and it was just a part of Mattel history that not that. And we noticed with some of these lines that we're mentioning, there are a lot of new collectors who aren't as familiar with them, who aren't as aware of them, but they existed. They definitely existed, and Mattel was definitely trying during this time, but failing to kind of have another hit like Monster High or Ever After High. They were definitely struggling a bit, and it shows. And now our next example is going to be even more blatantly similar to Monster High. Wild Heart Crew, or WHC for short, was created by some of the very designers behind Monster High. Yeah, they're similar in the fact that they also had these more alternative styles and they came out at a similar time to LOL OMG. So while they're not entirely in the dark ages, they are a notable attempt to bring Monster High back before it came back. And like, this is obvious in their designs and aspects of them. Because there are so many nods to Monster High in their designs, it's just crazy if you like really look into it. But just this line, the reason it's so little known, the reason it was so short run, is because Mattel made the weird decision of making them Walmart exclusive. The whole entire line and all the fashion packs. Yeah, every doll in this line was a Walmart exclusive. Mattel really pulled something super weird there, and we're calling them out because this has been one of the stupidest doll release type scenarios that we have encountered with Mattel. Seriously, like, and they barely even promoted this line. And the thing with the quality of this line, while it's not like MGA quality, while it isn't like that high up, it was decent quality compared to what other stuff they were putting out at the time. And that really says a lot. Like, look at the face ups, even. Like, those are some pretty faces. Like, we don't care if the hair isn't like the best material ever. Like, their faces are just very unique and different, and like, and they're a really nice cross between like Barbie and Monster High in our opinion. They kind of have the vibe of both of those lines, and just, it's just a shame Mattel had to make them so limited like that, because it really did international fans dirty. It really just wasn't a good look for them doing that. Like, making this interesting, fascinating doll line and then barely even promoting it. Let's just say our Tommy does not collect as many Mattel dolls now because of all of Mattel's stupid decisions during that time period. She just feels like they continue to make stupid decision after stupid decision. And it's just, and this is even prevalent with Gen 3 of Monster High. Not making their like their reproduction dolls as available as other dolls. Not fixing their scalper issues. Making some Generation 1 doll releases so overpriced, some people can't get their hands on them. And the way they handled the Generation 3 show, you literally need a Nickelodeon or Paramount Plus, or like, you have to literally buy every episode to watch it. It's just, it's not accessible to everybody. And in the death of cable, that we feel like is one of their worst recent decisions. Because with the death of cable, not as many people have cable anymore. More people are relying on streaming services to watch the shows they want. Most people aren't just gonna pay some cable company just to have Nickelodeon. So, like, why is Mattel doing this? If you want your show to be diverse, if you want to get your message out there, don't limit it to just people who have cable and have Nickelodeon. Don't limit it to people who have like the Paramount Plus stuff. Let everyone see it. I know there's clips on the YouTube channel, but most casual Monster High fans who don't have like cable and stuff like that, literally don't have nearly as much access to the episodes as they used to. People are resorting to watching them illegally. That is how bad this issue is. And Mattel, stop being stupid. At least they're starting to work on the issue with the polypropylene hair. At least taking steps in it. Yeah, at least they're kind of fixing that and doing the, especially with stuff like the core refresh dolls from Generation 3. But Mattel, get your act together. Stop using polypropylene hair on your Monster High dolls. And make the show more accessible. Let people watch it. People want to see the diversity and the story and all that, but you're not letting them. Well, sorry for the rant, but we had to say it. Because, like, the situation with Mattel, especially compared to how, like, MGA, like, listens to their customers more, is frustrating. Like, MGA, like, they'll replace things if they go wrong with your doll. Like how we had to email them to get a replacement phone case for Monique. They put attention to detail and effort into their dolls and everything about them. But Mattel, oh my gosh, they are so odd at times. It's bizarre. Like, it's difficult to be a Mattel stan in this day and age just because of their history of stupid decision making, of limiting their dolls to certain countries or stores even, and making them not as accessible in the past. And we can't overlook that very easily. Especially having to live through that. And it's just Mattel, get your act together. Well, that was our little talk about the Mattel Dark Ages. Goodbye, mysterious audience. I love you. Naomi loves you. And we're signing out.